The following presentation is an official product of Purdue Home Video. A dream provides the launching pad for all great accomplishments. For without a dream, there is no plan, no hope, no goal. Purdue fans dreamed of national prominence, great victories, bowl trips, competing at the elite level of college football. In 1998, Purdue turned those dreams into reality. Rarely is there one shining moment where dreams collide with opportunity. That moment came for Purdue football on December 29, 1998. The opponent, Kansas State. The Wildcats had been ranked #1 going into the final week of the regular season. Purdue, on the other hand, was unranked and a 13-point underdog.
Line to make is the 31. They fake the draw. Pressure is on, and he's sacked.
The Purdue defense came out dominating.
Quick pass intercepted by Purdue, and that's Justin. And Justin will take it to the 30-yard line. First down, Wildcats. Off the shotgun. Here's Murphy. Loses the football. It is picked up by Purdue. Reeves, and Reeves will take it back inside the 35-yard line.
Willie Fells with a nice hit.
In the first quarter, Purdue's defense held Kansas State to 19 yards on 4 possessions.
I've not been around a defense that's played that well for that long a period of time. It seems like in the ebb and flow of any game, you see a spurt where a defense will dominate for maybe a half of a quarter or maybe even a complete quarter. Our defense was fantastic. You know, our defense played at a high pitch for 60 minutes.
As the second quarter began, Purdue's offense cashed in on Reeves' rumble off the fumble.
Blitz right up the middle. Looking, delivers, touchdown.
Chris Daniels is going to just run a simple curl route against Keith Black and makes him look like a fade.
Then on the very next play, Purdue's defense continued to dominate Kansas State's offensive line.
Pressure from the backside, and he is going to be sacked again by Colvin. Ball came loose.
Michael Bishop arguing the point, but number 59, Roosevelt Colvin, they're blocking him with 2 players.
Our guys are best when they could speed rush upfield outside. And so we wanted to get upfield outside to contain the quarterback, and we wanted to do it with speed, and then that became a mismatch between our defensive ends versus their offensive tackles.
But later in the quarter, Purdue was forced to punt.
The ball goes through his hands. Good heavens, what else can happen? Picked up by K-State and dropped. They battle for it at the 1. Going to throw the fade to the corner. Touchdown, McDonald.
The Boilermakers responded quickly to the miscue.
Start and stop.
Start and stammer and stop. Clopton. He's free. Clopton is finally going to be tackled.
After Clopton's return, Drew Brees and the Purdue offense went back to work.
Here comes the blitz again.
There he is.
Got a man and caught at the 5, and touchdown Jones.
The lead was back to 10, and offensive coordinator Jim Chaney would log the play away in his memory book and use it later in the game.
But here's just a lob pass against Carter, the defensive back, Isaac Jones with a touchdown.
Next, a K-State interception set up a short field goal attempt.
Ball is down, and the ball is blocked.
It was Colvin's 5th career block, a Purdue record.
As soon as the long snapper snaps the ball, if you can move as soon as he's moving, then that gives you an edge over the tackle or the tight end that you're lined up on. And once you get your shoulders turned and through the hole, if you can sort of step one leg through and drag the other one, I just got my hands in there and tipped it just a little bit, just enough so it wouldn't reach the field goal post.
Breeze lobs it. Intercepted by Kansas State, and it's...
One play later, Purdue's defense was back on the field.
And he's going to be sacked. O'Keefer this time. 3 times that Bishop has been sacked, and he's looking around saying, hey, I'm not accustomed to being treated this way.
I mean, they come roaring up the field, and you can see.
The sack pushed K-State back to the 36, and Bishop set his sights on the end zone.
Pressure. Again, it's Wakari, gets it away, throws to the end zone, and it is intercepted by Purdue, and that's Beasley.
Despite the 17-7 lead, Tiller warned his team at halftime that this one was far from over.
They will make a run at you. They will come out the second half. They'll be re-energized, if you will, and they'll make a run at you. And you need to withstand that charge, if you will. And then the game will settle down a little bit. And then in the fourth quarter, like a great champion fighter, if you will, that's been on the canvas, the last 3 rounds of the 15 rounds are the most difficult rounds.
The Wildcats indeed began to make a move on the very first series.
Counted off at 15, 16, and now at 19 yards.
But Purdue stiffened, and the first charge was halted. Kansas State punted and held Purdue, forcing another punt.
David Miller, the nation's leading punt returner, or David Allen, I should say, standing and waiting for the return. High pass over his head. Second one we've had tonight, and K-State had to return on it. He missed it, and K-State will recover it for a touchdown.
K-State missed the extra point, and the scoreboard read 17-13. And Kansas State was quickly back on offense.
Breeze tripped over his lineman and got it away, and it's intercepted, and that's Chapman.
At midfield, the Purdue defense, as it had all season under defensive coordinator Brock Spack, made another critical stand.
Let's see if they go away from Colvin on the field. There he comes, and Colvin will make the sack. Good heavens, they knew he was there. They put a second man there. O'Keefer helped out, but it's Colvin who gets the sack. He has been unbelievable.
After the KSU punt, Purdue's offense moved the ball to the Wildcat 40, setting up another punt.
Allen runs away from it, and it is down by Purdue at the 1-yard line.
Vinny Sutherland's coverage opened the door for the opportunistic defense.
Ball is fumbled. It's in the end zone. Touchdown.
A total team effort on offense, defense, and special teams had combined to extend the lead to 24-13.
Almost like flipped it into the hands of Brian Goolsby, and they just never had it.
Mike, he also was looking at Wakari.
And Purdue's defensive dominance continued.
Bishop's pass intercepted, and it's Gustin again. His second kickoff of the night. First and goal, Purdue.
Gustin's interception set up Dorsch's second field goal.
Good pass. Kick is up, and he squeezes it through. As Purdue extends its lead to 14 points.
As the game entered the fourth period, no one could have predicted the football frenzy about to unfold.
Bishop sets deep under pressure, and he's sacked by O'Keefer. 5 times those defensive ends have gotten to him tonight.
Despite O'Keefer's sack, the Wildcats, as Joe Tiller predicted at halftime, showed the heart of a champion and began its fourth quarter charge.
And it is caught by Paredes. First and goal, Wildcats. Allen again, right side, touchdown, K-State.
Purdue began a march of its own, utilizing running back Jay Crabtree and the offensive line.
Crabtree will have the first down.
The blocking of Purdue's offensive line was superb. Over the course of the game, it opened holes while limiting K-State's defense to only 2 sacks in 53 passing attempts. The Boilers were rewarded at the end of this drive with Dortch's third field goal.
5 and 26 tonight. Good pass, and this one is right down the Alamo. See if it's returnable. Yep.
As he had done all season, Todd Stelma's speed on kickoff coverage pinned K-State at their own 12. But Kansas State had not been ranked number 1 by accident. The Wildcats could strike quickly from anywhere, and boy, did they ever.
First down from the 13-yard line. Bishop, deep retreat, pumps it. Going long, got a man open. And McDonald makes the catch. Flag goes down, but he will score it easily.
Purdue's lead was down to 3 with plenty of time left on the clock. The tension mounted as the Boilermakers were forced to punt again.
Center gets his kick away, and this spiral's not going to turn over. Allen from the 42.
The 32-yard punt return put K-State on the Boilermaker 27. As Purdue fans watched in agony, Kansas State methodically marched, eating up valuable time on the clock.
The quarterback draw, still on his feet, and Bishop will take it close to the first down.
For the first time in the game, Kansas State took the lead.
Throws for the end zone, touchdown Swift.
You know, I'd be less than honest if I said I was glad to see Kansas State score. But if they were going to score, I was glad that they scored with that much time on the clock, because I felt like if they had driven the ball and used up more time, that would really paint us into a corner. But anytime this football team gets the ball with a couple of minutes or close to a couple of minutes on the clock, they're going to have a chance against any team in America.
The Boilers were 80 yards away when a cool breeze blew into the huddle and told his teammates,
So take a deep breath, relax. We've done this many times. Let's go do it again.
2 of 16 third down conversions, and they had missed their last 9. Breeze's pass got it complete, and they'll have the first down.
A good effort by Chris Daniels.
Gets this one complete. That's Randall Lane. Breeze gonna run it, and he's got a lot of running room. Gonna take it as far as he can, and he did get out of bounds.
Offensive coordinator Jim Chaney called the same play that had delivered a touchdown back in the second quarter.
Got him there. Touchdown, Isaac Joe.
When we went out there and lined up and broke the huddle, you know, everything was where it needed to be for us, you know, to be successful. The right play was called, and I liked the coverage I saw, and I knew that if I could just get a step on him or get him leaning one way or another, and then I had a two-way go, then I could, you know, get past him, and if I drew put the ball on the money, then, you know, it could be a touchdown.
They rolled the safety down, and they rolled this safety down and rolled that safety away from the play. So I saw that Ike, as long as Ike could beat his man, he was going to be open. And I just kind of made sure that corner didn't bite on Ike's fade. You know, kind of glanced this way to take the safety there, and then just dropped it over the top.
You know, when the ball snapped, it's like, you know, things just slowed down 100 times, and I was able to get him leaning outside, and was able to come back inside, and he kind of stumbled and got behind him and drew through it right where it had to be.
Nothing like playing the 4th-ranked team in the nation. You know, being up the whole game, having them come back, go ahead. Everyone in the world thinking that we're going to lose this game, because it's just impossible to drive 80 yards in a minute 24, and we do it in, you know, 54 seconds. That was incredible. I was stunned. I couldn't believe it.
The two teams had scored 47 points in the second half, and 30 seconds still remained. No one on the Purdue sidelines could relax.
Bishop runs up into the pocket.
It was fitting that John Reeves' interception ended the game. He seemed to embody all who had loyally endured with Purdue football over the years. Reeves had overcome a life-threatening illness, many position changes, earned an extra year of eligibility. On the final play of the game, and on the final play of his career, John Reeves intercepted Michael Bishop's final pass.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. We took it all in our hearts. Everything, we gave it everything we had. This is what I'm talking about.
However, as memorable as that night was in San Antonio, the 1998 season cannot be judged just in the context of that win. It was a season of ups and downs that severely tested the coaches and players. The ability to persevere started with the Joe Tiller philosophy of football and life.
I can guarantee you two things about Purdue football and Purdue University and Purdue people. Whatever we do, we'll do it hard. We'll play hard. And maybe the only thing we do better than playing hard is having fun.
The hard work part began way back with off-season workouts.
Record number of guys who stayed and were committed to bettering themselves and trying to help Purdue really get to the next level and improve on last year's 93 record. And so from that standpoint, I think we saw what it took for us to be successful last year. And by staying here, guys were saying, hey, you know, we know it's going to take for us to be successful again in this upcoming season. And so
Joe Tiller's philosophy of fun was also evident during the summer. A close bond formed between the players. That camaraderie was a major factor in the success of 1998. It helped Purdue endure the long season, the injuries, many young new faces in the starting lineup, and one of the most difficult road schedules in the nation. Going bowling again in 1998 was not going to be an easy assignment.
Showtime!
The first game was at Southern California in the Pigskin Classic. It was the first start ever for many Boilermakers, including sophomore quarterback Drew Brees.
The only game on TV that day, you know, everyone, millions of people are watching, you know, thousands at the stadium, but millions on TV, you know, family back home, everybody back home watching, and just nerve-wracking. I was definitely nervous.
Just over 70 snaps in his college career. Not a lot of experience for Drew Brees, and he's got a third down here. Play action, wants to throw, double pumps and goes deep, and he's got it inside the 25 to Isaac Jones.
Now watch Brees. Nothing there early, nothing at all. Comes out, waits, and then lays it up where just Jones could get it and a strike.
Patience beyond his experience, that's for sure. Back to the action on a 2nd and goal from the 3. Empty backfield again.
Oh,
Brees from the gun.
Down.
Throws out, touchdown. Gabe Cox.
Unfortunately, the early lead was short-lived.
Morton waits on it from the 2. Chad Morton straight up the middle with great speed.
As it would all season, Danny Rogers' target punting was a weapon.
Larry Parker has to let it go. Will it die in time? It's going to. Purdue will cover down inside the 3-yard line. He'll bring the heat on the quarterback of USC all day. He drops into coverage here, and a nice job defensively by Deshaun Austin, who knocked that pass away.
The defense bottled up the Trojans, and the offense was on the march again.
Crabtree, and he rumbles down for what looks like a first down inside the 30-yard line. 2nd down and 8. They'll empty the backfield. Crabtree in motion. Brees buys himself some time. To the end zone. Touchdown.
Purdue's young offense with Brees at the helm had scored 2 touchdowns, then moved into field goal range. It was Dortch's first field goal in a Purdue uniform. By the end of the season, he would connect on 16 of the 22 he attempted. Purdue held USC to only 78 yards in the first half, and the score was 17-10.
A cool place or a cool drink. It is almost 120 degrees on the playing surface at the Coliseum.
The second half would prove unkind to the Boilermakers on the scoreboard, but it would become obvious to all that the offense certainly had found its leader.
To the right side. Deep out.
got his man. Throw. He threw the ball in the zone, right over the short zone, ripped it. The ball barely touched, right on. Can't even say he put it between the numbers there.
He put it right in the circular part of the 6.
Look at that throw.
Still, the Trojans scored 17 unanswered points in the second half to win 27-17. Despite the loss, the Boilermakers had plenty of reasons to be optimistic as they had 2 weeks to prepare for their home opener against Rice.
Shotgun spread, direct snap to Brees. He cocks once, fires downfield. Jones comes back, makes the catch, slips away at the 30. He's at the 20. He's at the 15.
Purdue jumped out early behind the running and passing of Drew Brees, much to the delight of the sun-drenched fans.
And Tyler's at fullback, running the option to the right. Bates hangs on to it. Wing left, wide receivers on either side. Rolling to the left now is Richardson. He pitches out to Perry. Perry's flung down by Gustin at the 35-yard line.
The Boilers' defense was on the field for 22 minutes in the first half, but refused to break.
He's sacked back at the 35-yard line. Rolling in there, Roosevelt Colvin.
Pass rushing wasn't the only area where Rice felt Colvin's presence.
There's a snap to place with the boot is blocked.
His first blocked field goal of the season set up the Purdue offense, which quickly capitalized on a touchdown pass from Brees to Gabe Cox. In the second half, Rice refused to fold, scoring to cut the lead to 14-10. But Purdue's offense answered the challenge. Escorted by a wall of blockers, Crabtree turned a short pass from Brees into a long gain down to the 10. Then Brees sidestepped the owl rush and hit for the touchdown and a 21-10 lead. Early in the fourth quarter, Rice kicked a field goal, and on their next possession, with less than 2 minutes to go in the game, pulled to within 2 points with a rare touchdown pass. Purdue's defense had been on the field for over 40 minutes. However, when it counted, they came up big. And Purdue had the first of 6 home field victories, 21-19. The following week, Central Florida quarterback Dante Culpepper, a Heisman Trophy candidate, brought a completely different style of offense to Ross-Ade Stadium. Purdue's defensive versatility contained Culpepper all day long. The running of Jay Crabtree and the passing of Drew Brees led to Purdue's first score.
Double tight end set. Back to throw is Brees. Fires a fade left corner of the end zone for Cox. A battle for the ball. He took it away. Grabbed it for the touchdown.
At key moments, the defense continued to frustrate Culpepper.
And play action fake. He rolls to the left. Fires into the end zone. Ball tipped and intercepted by Hawthorne. He comes out. He's got a convoy. He could score. He's at the 30. He's at the 40. He's at the 50. He cuts back and is going to be dragged down at the 35. Nice. He lateraled it off. He lateraled it off. And the touchdown. Gustin goes in.
The bend but don't break defense and a balanced Purdue attack settled the matter. Purdue passed for 223 yards and rushed for 206 more.
100-yard mark for the first time at Purdue. He gets the handoff, breaks into the clear. He's got his 100 yards. He may have a touchdown. He's to the 5. He goes in. Touchdown. Jake Crabtree.
The 35-7 victory set the stage for the annual battle with the Fighting Irish in South Bend. Before another nationally televised audience, the Boilers took the opening kickoff and headed towards the Irish end zone.
Some fake. Brees throws to his senior Isaac Jones. 3 receivers to the right. Brees plenty of time. Throws open. And complete to Jones again. 3 for 3 on this opening drive and 53 yards. Give to Crabtree. He's at the 15. He's down to the 11-yard line. Another Peyton carried that number. He's from Wichita. Now Brees lobs it. Intercepted in the end zone. Take it away. What's going to be the call?
We have a touchdown.
Oh, the ball is a touchdown.
The second drive looked a lot like instant replay.
Pass complete. Cox looks left. Gets away from pressure. Fires complete to Randall Lane, the touchdown maker. At the 5. Brees rolls. Brees at the goal line. Touchdown.
A later drive led to a field goal attempt. The Boilermakers led 17-7. Notre Dame answered with a touchdown. But then it was time for the 2-minute offense.
Breeze, nice throw. Jackson stays in bounds. No, he gets out into ball player. Throws. Wendell Lane. Touchdown.
Purdue led 24-14 at halftime, having scored on 4 of its 5 first-half possessions. Purdue led 30-21 in the fourth quarter, when the Irish taught the young Boilers a difficult lesson in 60-minute football.
Throws down the middle. Intercepted. Tony Driver at the 30, the 25, the 10, to the 5.
The field goal produced a devastating 31-30 loss, a loss that Tiller knew, despite the pain, could ultimately help the Boilermakers in the future.
We wanted to make sure that we treated the game as a learning experience, that the next time we would be in the same situation. And we felt like we would be because of our schedule. We knew what was ahead of us on the schedule. That the next time we were in that situation, that we would respond a little bit differently, and the results would be different.
Purdue headed home to play Minnesota in its Big Ten opener. Minnesota played man-to-man defense. It was a bad idea, unless, of course, you like passing records. The defense did their part by making sure the Purdue offense kept getting the ball back.
A 9 out of 10 here in the first quarter. Shotgun spread. Brees takes the snap. Going deep. He's got a man open. And it's another touchdown, Gamecocks.
Let's talk a little bit about Matt Light, Aaron Starnes, Jim Niedrich, Kobe, and Brandon Gorin. Outstanding job on pass blocking.
Play action fake. Rolling to the right is Brees. He throws on the move. Touchdown, Vinny Sutherland with a sliding foot first catch.
By making an outstanding catch on that
There's
play.
a pump fake. Here's a deep fade. Daniels, touchdown, Purdue. Oh, what a beautiful stop and go and a pump action fake. Daniels wide to the left. Jackson wide to the right. Quick fade, left corner. Daniels, touchdown. He threw it perfectly over the head of the defender.
The final score, 56-21.
And it's a touchdown, Gamecocks. Touchdown pass number 6 for Drew Brees. He's in the Boilermaker record book by his lonesome.
Well, one of the things that Drew Brees has proven tonight is his ability to throw it from a lot of different angles. There you saw that was a crossing route. Here's the crossing route, throwing on the run, off the back foot, off the front foot, improvisation, making the reads.
At Wisconsin against the ultimate Rose Bowl champions, Brees filled the air with footballs.
You're going to get a chance to see what we were talking about. It looks like a fade route, then all of a sudden he pivots back, just drills the ball. A lot of that is his quickness. Look at the upfield. This time he does the arm under and is able to get there. Great job of balance on the part of Colvin.
Purdue's defense frustrated the Wisconsin offense all night.
With their defensive ends, and rightly so. I mean, it's a bad dream of 20-pound offensive line average. Instead, he goes laterally, and once again, you got to give credit to Purdue in their pursuit.
But Purdue miscues on key plays throughout the game ultimately led to a 31-24 defeat.
Take a look at the bottom. He stops, he never gets out of his back pedal. As a result, he's able to cut forward, and he has nothing but AstroTurf in front of him.
In front of Bob Greasy and yet another national television audience, Purdue's special teams got the Boilermakers off to a good start.
Back to the 24, gets a crack, fumble. And Purdue may have it. Rocco Foggio recovered the ball for the Boilers. And it looked like Eric Haddad knocked it loose.
Yeah. From behind the quarterback, going to roll to his left side. He thinks about coming back to the right. He knows there's nobody over there, so he comes back.
The turnover led to a field goal after an apparent Purdue touchdown was disallowed. The offensive frustration would continue throughout the afternoon.
And down he goes.
Purdue's defense began to look like its old opportunistic self again, but in the end, Penn State pulled away 31-13.
Aaron Harris. Touchdown.
For the first time in 1998, Purdue had a losing record at 3-4. However, Tiller kept the Boilers on track by pointing to the future.
I did at that time talk about the balance of the schedule, which you rarely do. You rarely want to get ahead of yourself. But we felt at that time of the season it was important to point out who it was we were going to play, when we were going to play them, how they had performed up until this point in time, and what it would take for us to be successful against them.
This is the 51st cannon battle. It's all even at 24, 24, and 2 ties. And a booming kick by Button goes through the end zone. Clearly focused on the future, Purdue took on Illinois back in the friendly confines of Ross-Ade Stadium. Shoved back by Mitrione. A huge hit by the redshirt freshman from Springfield, Illinois. See if they throw to the freshman Stratton at tight end. He had one taken away by referees. Call it Penn State. There's a snap, looking. There's a pass back of the end zone. Touchdown, and it's Stratton. Takes a snap from center. He pumps. He comes up the middle. Comes to the near side. He's to the 15. He's to the 10. He's to the 5. And he dives out of bounds near the 2-yard line. Andre Johnson in at tailback. Gets the handoff. Hurdles in for the touchdown. Andre Johnson, the redshirt freshman running back out of Kokomo. There's Kittner airing it out down the left side. Intercepted for the Boilermakers. At the 42-yard line, that is Henry Bell. The wingback in motion is Whitman. Back to throw now is Kittner. He's going to run. He's going to be hit. He fumbled the ball. It was at this point in the season that Purdue's offense, defense, and special teams began operating at a high level of efficiency, a level the Boilermakers would maintain for the rest of the year. That's a 3rd turnover already here in the first half for Illinois. Jones and Lane wide to the near side, which is the wide side of the field. There's a pump fake and a bullet down the left side, caught by Daniels. Sidestep to the 10, 5, touchdown! Oh, what a move by Chris Daniels! Kittner over center, and he's going to throw here. He drops back. He sets up deep. He looks, and he's going to be grabbed and sacked by Corey. Simpson's in the slot to the near side. Cox to the left. Inside handoff, a draw to Crabtree. 25, 20. Breaks to the outside. 15, 10. Stretches out down to the 7-yard line. When the final gun sounded, Purdue had dominated in all phases of the game. 42-9. The spring was clearly back in the Boilermakers' step. On Halloween, Iowa came to Ross-Ade Stadium. Slot to the near left-hand side. Play action fake. Bootlegging to the right. Brees throws. Caught by Stratton at the 5. He goes in for the touchdown. Purdue had only beaten Iowa once since 1980. It was a drought begging for rain. And when it rains, it pours. Pass right into the arms of the Sacker, and that's Mitrione along with Reeves. Set of wide receivers, tight end standing to the right, play action fake. Here comes Gustin on a safety blitz. This time it's a fumble, and the Boilermakers recover it. Billy Gustin with a hit. The blind side hit, they call a fumble, and Purdue recovers. The first turnover of the ball game. Brees takes the snap from center, pumps, fires, looking deep, into the end zone. Touchdown! Randall Lane between 2 defenders. It proved to be just another day at the office climbing the corporate football ladder. Motion, I formation. Play action. Mullen sets up the throw, fires down the right side, intercepted for the Boilermakers. Lane and Cox wide to the left. Jones and Daniels wide to the near side. Back to throw is Brees. He pump fakes right, looks left, now stands in the middle, has all day to look. Sidesteps to his left, throws. Touchdown Boilermakers! 3 first-half touchdown passes by Drew Brees gives him a share of the Boilermakers single-season touchdown passing record. Back to throw is Mullen. Pump fake, he's hit and sacked. The ball comes loose, picked up by Reeves, who flops on it at the 50-yard line. Johnson again, the setback, and gets the handoff up the middle, breaks to the outside 40, cut back at the 40, 35, 30, and inside the 30 to the 26-yard line. In motion goes the wing back, and Andre Johnson, fake to Dondre, pass into the right corner, touchdown Stratton. What a huge fake. Purdue won 36-14. Next, the Boilermakers headed to Northwestern, contemplating an 0-4 road record.
It was a question in everybody's mind whether or not we can win on the road. And it wasn't the question of not whether we were young anymore or whether we were good enough to play with any of these teams. It was a question of whether we can go to a hostile environment and perform to the capabilities that we can do at home.
It seemed like home in Evanston for the Boilermakers. Every phase of the game clicked. The offense chewed up yards. The defense seemed to be in a particularly nasty mood. And the special teams set the tone. Ray Lee's hit on the kickoff produced Lamar Kennard's fumble recovery. Todd Stelma must have seemed like a speeding bullet to Northwestern. The offense continued to click along at an efficient pace. Brees continued his assault on the record books with pinpoint passing. The defense was just downright mean to the team in purple, and that's not a bad thing if you're a Purdue fan. 56-21 win was Purdue's first on the road in 1998. But the Boilermakers were back on the road the following week against a Michigan State team that had just upset #1 Ohio State.
Great win in Columbus, and certainly they were playing us at home, and their schedule was lined up so that they were in perfect position to be involved in postseason play. They had a lot of reasons to play a great football game that day.
But from the very beginning, it was Purdue's defense that played the great game.
3rd and goal. Little play action. Pass is tipped and nearly intercepted. 4th down, they're going for it. Goal to go inside the wall. Burke. Willie Feld, another stunning play on the goal line as Burke looked to cut it back upfield. A loss of 3 yards back to the 4, and the Purdue Boilermakers turn back the Spartans at the doorstep.
Trailing 7-3, the defense got offensive.
Screens it out, intercepted. Man Mitrione to the end zone. Touchdown, Purdue.
Injuries required senior reserve Eric Haddad to step in at running back. He gained 59 yards on 11 carries.
That tells you a lot about the quality of the person that you're dealing with, and I think Eric kind of exemplified, if you will, our senior class.
As the second half rolled along, Haddad ran with authority.
Eric Haddad for about 7 or 8 yards.
Breeze operated the passing game with efficiency.
On the reverse, fake the reverse to Sutherland. Drew Brees, tight end, Tim Stratton. First down for Purdue at the Michigan State 25-yard line.
Dortch kicked with authority.
35-yarder. The kick is good.
However, the Purdue lead didn't last. By the end of the 3rd period, 2 Michigan State touchdowns put the Spartans up 21-13. A 4th quarter field goal moved the lead to 24-13.
Burke from behind was hammered on the play. G.K. O'Keefer.
Once again, it was the defense that answered the bell and set the Purdue comeback in motion.
Snap off the mark. Blocked on the play. Todd Stelma, who blocked a punt a week ago, blocks another this week. And Purdue will get the football to the 20-yard line.
Take a look. Stelma comes in from the right side of the screen. Just goes around the blocker. Not much of a block there at all by Newsom. And Stelma makes a huge play.
History has a way of repeating itself, and we'll show you how. Last year's meeting, Purdue made one of the greatest comebacks in Boilermaker history. Down 11 points, 2:13 remaining. Leo Perez blocked Chris Gardner's 39-yard field goal attempt. Roosevelt Colvin picked it up and rambled for his first career touchdown, pulling Purdue to within 21-16. After a failed 2-point conversion attempt, Purdue recovered an onside kick with 2 minutes remaining. They get the ball on their 45-yard line.
The Boilermakers had the Spartans right where they wanted them, and it seemed like deja vu all over again. The Purdue offense capitalized on the block, cutting the lead to 24-19.
Joe Tiller, head coach of the Purdue Boilermakers. His team on the verge of bowl eligibility. With 6 wins on the season, they need 7. But they trail 24-19 with 2:54 to go in the game. They're 70 yards away. Actually 71 as they mark it to the 29. Drew Brees under pressure. Escape to the outside. First down and more from the Spartan 38. Brees got his man. Ike Jones first down to the 21. 3rd down. Randall Lane first and goal. Brees. Touchdown. His leading receiver, Isaac Jones. 6-yard touchdown reception. And Purdue vaults into the lead.
The defense shut the door on the Spartans and sealed the 25-24 victory.
Here he is on 4th down under pressure. And down under the sack of David Nugent. Purdue will win this football game.
The Michigan State come-from-behind victory had another effect as well. It put Drew Brees squarely in the national spotlight. Despite his warp-speed passing skills, it took this game to prove he could pull a Joe Montana and win in the clutch. Purdue coaches, players, and fans had known all along the confident sophomore from the Lone Star State had the ability to lead and perform.
But Drew's always been a confident guy. Sometimes too much so, because he thinks he can complete every pass and actually throw the ball through the open linebacker. And that isn't true. But certainly he's a guy that is very confident, and that is really a great quality to have, in the sense that that if he does throw an interception or he does make a mistake out there, he very quickly just believes that they were lucky to intercept him or what have you, or he's on to the next play mentally.
Back in like elementary school, middle school, there was always something that I would try to hit with a rock, or something that my buddies would dare me to be like, Drew, hey, I bet you can't hit that, or whatever, that street lamp over there or something, like 50 yards away or something. So I'd be like, all right, I grab that rock and chunk it down there, and most of the time he ended up hitting stuff.
Throughout the season against national caliber competition, Breeze proved himself time and again while setting countless passing records. It took some a while to finally acknowledge his talent, but better late than never. We can find room for virtually anyone on the Drew Brees bandwagon.
Drew Brees, now in my mind, if you're thinking about the Heisman next year, you got to immediately think of this kid on national television, wins a big game like this. He set 6 Big Ten records last year. He's going to throw more next year. Heisman, Drew Brees, you got to think about him.
After Michigan State, the Boilers were 7-4 and riding a 4-game winning streak. Of course, no season would be complete without a victory over the Indiana Hoosiers. On November 21st, 1998, at Ross-Ade Stadium, the Boilermakers made sure the old Oaken Bucket remained safely in West Lafayette.
Reese over center. Diedrich with a snap. Here's the bubble screen left. Caught by Jones again. 35, 30, 25, 20. He may go. He's to the 10, 5. Touchdown, Isaac Jones, the senior from Wallingford, PA, with a bubble screen run of 37 yards. And Reese has 4 straight touchdown passes, entering Indiana's first touchdown. High formation, slot to the left. Randall L. play action fake, sets up the throw, wants to run, and this time they're going to sack him back at the 29-yard line. Boilermakers do some stunning. Well, Corey's on the defensive line. There's a play action fake, bootleg to the right. Randall L. once again throw back against the grain, left side, intercepted by the Boilermakers. Billy Gustin. Jones is in the slot to the right. Reese drops back to throw, fires. There's Cox. There's the record. He's to the 30. He's to the 25, and down to the 23-yard line. Drew Brees now owns the pass attempts, passing completion, touchdown passing, and yardage single-season Big Ten record as well as school marks. That's a 28-yard pickup. Connor is wide to the near side. Gaddis in the slot to the left. Here's a deep rollout to the left by Rogers. Fires downfield, and it's intercepted by the Boilermakers. And that is Henry Bell. He's down the sideline. And this time they give the head, and he dives over the pile for a touchdown. Jay Rogers, play action fake, looks, fires deep over the middle, another interception, and that's Stelma. He's very high. There's a long pass over the middle, caught by Sutherland, touchdown! And the Boilermakers go over the 50-point mark for the 3rd time in the last 5 years against Indiana.
The 52-7 win gives Purdue its 5th straight victory and an undefeated record at Ross-Ade Stadium for the first time since 1979. Over the last 2 months of the season, Joe Tiller's team had quietly become a juggernaut. For the seniors, the season and their careers ended with one of the greatest moments in Purdue football history. The Boilermakers finished the season 9-4 and nationally ranked for the 2nd consecutive year. The character, commitment, and willingness to pay any price to win had turned dreams into reality.
So proud, baby! We shocked the world, baby!